Can I ask you a difficult question?
Sure.
There's popularity in martyrdom. There's popularity in pointing out that the emperor has no clothes. That can become a drug in itself. I've confronted this in scientific work I've done at MIT, where there are certain things that are not done well. People are not being the best version of themselves. And particular aspects of a particular field are in need of a revolution. And part of me wanted to point that out versus doing the hard work of publishing papers and doing the revolution. Basically just pointing out, look, you guys are doing it wrong, and then just walking away. Are you aware of the drug of martyrdom? Of the ego involved in it, that it can cloud your thinking?
Probably one of the best questions I've ever been asked. So let me try to sort it out. First of all, we are all mysteries to ourself at some level. So it's possible there's stuff going on in me that I'm not aware of that's driving. But in general, I would say one of my better strengths is that I'm not especially ego-driven. I have an ego. I clearly think highly of myself, but it is not driving me. I do not crave that kind of validation. I do crave certain things. I do love a good eureka moment. There is something great about it. And there's something even better about the phone calls you make next when you share it, right? It's pretty fun, right? I really like it. I also really like my subject, right? There's something about a walk in the forest when you have a toolkit in which you can actually look at creatures and see something deep, right? I like it. That drives me. And I could entertain myself for the rest of my life, right? If I was somehow isolated from the rest of the world, but I was in a place that was biologically interesting, hopefully I would be with people that I love and pets that I love, believe it or not. But, if I were in that situation and I could just go out every day and look at cool stuff and figure out what it means, I could be all right with that. So I'm not heavily driven by the ego thing, as you put it.
So I'm completely the same, except instead of the pets, I would put robots. But so it's the eureka, it's the exploration of the subject that brings you joy and fulfillment. It's not the ego.
Well, there's more to say. No, I really don't think it's the ego thing. I will say I also have kind of a secondary passion for robot stuff. I've never made anything useful, but I believe I found my calling. But if this wasn't my calling would have been inventing stuff. I really enjoy that too. So I get what you're saying about the analogy quite well. As far as the martyrdom thing, I understand the drug you're talking about, and I've seen it more than I've felt it. I do, if I'm just to be completely candid, and that this question is so good it deserves a candid answer, I do like the fight, right? I like fighting against people I don't respect, and I like winning. But I have no interest in martyrdom. One of the reasons I have no interest in martyrdom is that I'm having too good a time, right? I very much enjoy my life. And
that's such a good answer.
I have a wonderful wife. I have amazing children. I live in a lovely place. I don't want to exit any quicker than I have to. That said, I also believe in things, and a willingness to exit, if that's the only way, is not exactly inviting martyrdom, but it is an acceptance that fighting is dangerous, and going up against powerful forces means who knows what will come of it, right? I don't have the sense that the thing is out there that used to kill inconvenient people. I don't think that's how it's done anymore. It's primarily done through destroying them reputationally, which is not something I relish the possibility of. But there's a difference between a willingness to face the hazard rather than a desire to face it because of the thrill, right? For me, the thrill is in fighting when I'm in the right. I feel that is a worthwhile way to take what I see as the kind of brutality that is built into men and to channel it to something useful, right? If it is not channeled into something useful, it will be channeled into something else. So it damn well better be channeled into something useful.
It's not motivated by fame and popularity, those kinds of things. It's there. You know, you're just making me realize that enjoying the fight, fighting the powerful, an idea that you believe is right, is a kind of optimism for the human spirit. It's like, we can win this. It's almost like you're turning into action, into personal action, this hope for humanity by saying, like, we can win this, and that makes you feel good about, like, the rest of humanity. That if there's people like me, then we're going to be okay. Even if you're like, your ideas might be wrong or not, but if you believe they're right and you're fighting the powerful against all odds, then we're going to be okay. That to me, if I were to project, I mean, because I enjoy the fight as well, I think that's what brings me joy. Is it's almost like it's optimism in action.
Well, it's a little different for me. And again, I think, I recognize you. You're familiar. Your construction is familiar, even if it isn't mine, right? For me, I actually expect us not to be okay. And I'm not okay with that. But what's really important, if I feel like what I've said is, I don't know of any reason that it's too late. As far as I know, we could still save humanity and we could get to the fourth frontier or something akin to it. But I expect us not to. I expect us to fuck it up, right? I don't like that thought, but I've looked into the abyss and I've done my calculations, and the number of ways we could not succeed are many, and the number of ways that we could manage to get out of this very dangerous phase of history is small. But the thing I don't have to worry about is that I didn't do enough, right? That I was a coward, that I, prioritized other things. At the end of the day, I think I will be able to say to myself, and in fact, the thing that allows me to sleep is that when I saw clearly what needed to be done, I tried to do it to the extent that it was in my power. And, if we fail, as I expect us to, I can't say, well, geez, that's on me, And, frankly, I regard what I just said to you as something like a personality defect, right? I'm trying to free myself from the sense that this is my fault. On the other hand, my guess is that personality defect is probably good for humanity, right? It's a good one for me to have. The externalities of it are positive, so I don't feel too bad about it.
Yeah, that's funny. So, yeah, our perspective on the world are different, but they rhyme, like you said. Because I've also looked into the abyss, and it kind of smiled nervously back. So I have a more optimistic sense that we're going to win. More than likely, we're going to be okay.
Right there with you, brother. I'm hoping you're right. I'm expecting me to be right.